obviously we'll have our normal bumps and bruises after a tough game like we had this weekend. We're fortunate to only have to report on Opa Mahoje with a concussion. As you all know, he left early in the first half. Opa is still symptomatic, so he will not be training at all this week, and we'll monitor his progress as we go along. On the good news front, Jesse Kriel has done well in his final phase of his return to play protocol, and if all goes according to plan, he will be available for selection for the weekend.
Thank you, Doc. Any questions from that?
Allister, obviously the news about Jesse leaves you with an interesting poser in the midfield.
Yeah, look, if I reflect back and I look at the first test and see how well he played, it's really pleasing after a Super Rugby season that he's had. Played a bit of fullback as well, most of the time at fullback, but how quickly he settled in as outside centre, as a 13, and the way he played, and obviously Lionel having had a chance this weekend and gotten a chance to play, also performed. That's why I keep on saying that the beauty about the squad and the team as we have it now, it's really very, very close. So whenever there's an injury, it's not a nice thing, but the next guy stepping in, delivers. So that's a really good position to be in. He's a headache for me, obviously, but I know I'll make the right decision.
Coach, how big a loss is Opa in the context of where you were building this trio now in the series?
No, it's a massive loss, like I just said about whenever there's an injury, it is a loss. Opa's really happy with his game, where his game is going to, is that our main line-out sort of specialist is another third option to have in the line-out. The ability to run like a front lock in general play, carrying hard, and his defensive work as well around the field. Both him and Sia have been strong in defence. Last week Sia's defensive performance was outstanding. Opa, as you can see, it's almost like this competition, momentum stopping, and that is a big thing against the French. You have to do that, and they both have, and Opa has done that well. So Opa's progress and his confidence and his development as a player in small little things that you might not be aware of in terms of the detail and to execute those detail on the field it's been amazing and pleasing.
At the same time, though, you must be pleased how Jean-Luc stepped in this week, and then just taking that further, then with the decision you have to make in midfield, will you be thinking of making other changes this week? With the squad, with the series sort of wrapped up.
Well, look, there will have to be. I would like to keep the team as with the continuity and the same as far as I can, but there is also an opportunity to build capacity. And with a performance like Jean-Luc, there's an opportunity for him, in order to make sure that we build that capacity in the team. Might be one or two other changes, but definitely not wholesale changes. No, the French are a very good side, and we respect them, massive respect for them. This is not just a match with the series being wrapped up now. It's another test. It's a very important test for us, and we must, each week show that progression, and in terms of all the departments of the game, I want to see really consistency in all our departments. Consistency in the way we have defended 15 minutes in the second half, after half time. On attack, the way we have used the width and just finishing opportunities. We've created a number which is very positive, and I know the confidence with finishing will come. It's a matter of time, and we've got to keep building on that. And I think the big thing for me with our kicking game, which is a really underestimated factor, is how hard our wingers work in terms of their chasing ability. And then sometimes people, criticize you for not having big wingers, but I don't think big wingers have got that aerobic and anaerobic ability to be sprinting down a chase and scrambling back and making a tackle on the try line. And that is where I think our wingers are really playing their part. And if you look at, a lot of players are performing, and you'd like to have 15 players performing consistently every weekend, and that will help with the consistent, game as well.
Just on that loose trio, just to take that a bit further. 2 weeks ago in Pretoria, you said Jacob Kriel, you felt he didn't have enough game time as such, and that that's one of the reasons you didn't pick him at that stage. With the way your loose trio has performed over the last 2 weeks, it makes it even more difficult for a guy like that. Any thoughts on maybe releasing him to play a bit of the Super Sport Challenge or something like that, or do you believe it's a bit more beneficial for him to be with the team at the moment?
No, it's definitely more beneficial to have a player of the caliber, Jacob Kriel. And I think Jacob Kriel might find him in the starting 23 this weekend. I've got no doubt that Jacob Kriel has recovered tremendously, and I think he was a week earlier, with his return to train protocol, which was good, but now I can see the way he trains, much more confident, and I can't wait to see Jacob Kriel getting an opportunity in the Springbok side again.
Just almost carrying on from that, Allister, I know in the past you said at times you're horses for courses, man. With the test being at Ellis Park on Saturday, a guy like, as you say, Jacob Kriel, and maybe sort of one or two of the others, Ruan Dreyer, or so for that matter, could you be giving consideration to some of the lines, or more of the lines that might not be in the starting team as yet?
I don't know what you're actually saying, to be honest, but what I said earlier on, I would like to build capacity in our team, and that could lead to one or two changes, but without creating some form of complacency. That is never in this team, making just changes for the sake of making changes. We've got combinations going, we've got want to keep continuity as far as possible, but also yet in the right places where I need to see certain players, which I haven't seen. Maybe it's an opportunity also to have a look at that, but it's not also changes, and I will definitely make sure that I do that.
Just looking further ahead now, past this test, I know you only look at this test, but in this test there'll be some things you want to take another step forward to with the Rugby Championship in mind, because obviously that'll be a totally different challenge. Yeah,
totally different challenge altogether, and as Brendan, honestly, I'll cross that bridge when we get to that. This weekend, if you sit in Guy Nove's shoes, and if you also look at what has been said in the media, is that they would also play for honour and for pride this weekend. So they will come with a massive onslaught. And for us, it's important to continue growing as a team, continue winning. And you can only blood by doing that, giving opportunity. It's important for us to follow and stick to our processes and improve and get it right. So it's another test, and it's a massive test match this weekend for us. We've planned accordingly. Our Monday started really well. We rewarded players for brilliance over the weekend, and a lot of our players stood out. And I just showed a few clips about our energy and our intensity and the way we scramble when we need to scramble and to work for each other. It's amazing, and that is the point of difference for me in this group of players we have here.
Allister, speak about a headache when it comes to selection. Does the SAA guys, even your both migrate in terms of that capacity, building the capacity?
Yeah, look, obviously, I always said it's an extension of the big group, players playing there, and I won't go outside the group. You go through the SAA before you can get back into the Springbok side. That's why Andre Pollard is joining the team for this weekend. Jan and I will still have to discuss after this meeting I will have a word with Johan. We already spoke last night, and just after our meeting this morning, we'll speak to Johan again and see how we can make sure that we get what we would like to see from that's a relationship we have, and encourage certain players, give them game time there and see how they perform in their second game. But the important thing is to make sure that we come away with 2 wins against the French this weekend.
On a more personal note, Coach, a lot was said prior to the season about this being do or die for you, your job and so on. Do you feel as if you've proven your critics wrong first of all and probably saved your job?
No, don't worry about that, but I don't have critics. I don't have critics. There's only one person's approval I ever want and would like to have is the Almighty one else's approval. So my job, I've got a 4-year contract with the SA Rugby till 2019. And a national coach knows, when he signs this thing, it's obviously you're judged on a few things. And I'm pleased that 2016 is dead and buried now, and we've moved on. And it's just great to see what is happening now, and that it's not to prove anyone, but it's to make sure that our hard work is paying off at the moment. Because yes, mistakes were made, but it's ability to rectify those mistakes and the ability to set them right. And that is what's happening here. Got a great team environment, fantastic leadership group, great captain, and a willingness that everyone is bought into the plan. And it's looking good. Honestly, when you, like I said at the press conference in Durban 8 months ago, people booed us off the field, and on the very same field, the players got a standing ovation, and a lot of credit must go to the players for being able to unselfishly buy into our system, our value system, and creating this brilliant team environment. Obviously, with our management team as well.
Allister, you were talking in Durban about all the positives coming out of that test. What's the areas you still feel you need to work on there?
Yeah, I just think, Rudolph, there are times in Test match rugby when you've got to put have a kill instinct, and when you get maybe if the score's 37-15, it doesn't look too bad. But when you get a line out in the 22 of the opposition, your ball, then that's where I would like to see us being more clinical with that. From the first test to the second test, we looked for more lineouts on the attack. We got it this time around, which is a brilliant step in the right direction. Plenty more lineouts on the attack, but it's what to do with those lineout position, and the scrum set face position in the opposition's half. So from that point of view, I just want us to be a bit more ruthless.
So the stats from the match in Durban would suggest that you guys spend most of the time, or a lot of the time, defending, which you did well. So that would also suggest then that you didn't have all that much ball going forward, and they would say so, with offloads and line breaks and that sort of thing. Is that encouraging that you still won so well without that attack ball, or is it something that you're more concerned about?
That's my point I'm actually making, Jacques. That's the ruthlessness I'm looking for. When we're in the right areas and we carry, then we should look after the ball. So we've spoken about the breakdown area. Line breaks, obviously, it's a line break, but I'm looking for better reaction to get the continuity going from there. We turned over a couple at the breakdown, which is really soft from our side, so there will be a focus on that. The other thing is, it's not like we're chasing the game. That's why we didn't have so many carries. So when you're chasing the ball, you can't actually kick the ball away, and the French held onto the ball longer, and they have more carries than us, but our defense really was outstanding. Honestly, I've seen a couple of clips where players, a lot of them had double and triple actions, like making a tackle, you're getting up, making a tackle again, and then the same sort of passage of play. So, it shows nothing else but an attitude of the player and the team environment.
Maybe on that, to the doctor, maybe, even though you just report on the one reasonable serious injury, all those tackles that Allister's talking about, do you feel that could take a toll or take an effect sort of so shortly after what has happened?
Yeah, if you look at it, and as I started, it says we've got our normal bumps and bruises, and on average, we've got a lot of sore bodies, and that's why we adapt our training according to it. And we, like this afternoon session, is a good session as a flush out for us to see exactly how much effect that has had onto it. And we're fortunate that our coaching staff listen. A lot of coaching staff will just want to do what they want to do, but they've been very good. And if we, from a medical staff, say, listen, let's rest this player, let's look after this player, they've been very good and assisting us with that.
Are you likely to have a few of the guys that played on Saturday rested today?
One or two, but not, no. So that's why our session this afternoon is going to be at a lower intensity than our Mondays normally are, specifically because we've got a bit more bruising than we normally have.
Just on that point also, Christo, defence, and I've seen this and I've done some research on it, and we have looked at ourselves in the past. And you guys wrote that the Stormers have been very defensive orientated, and that's not where we got our injuries from. We actually got our injuries more from when we carry ball in attack. That is where we got injuries from, you know. So it was, like I say, a good test for us making those tackles, soft tissue injuries, to you know, coming from Super Rugby back-to-back tests, there will be soft tissue injuries. And that is what we have at the moment. So therefore, we're not going to say now we're going to manage the players and they're not going to work. Now they're still going to work, but we're going to work at different intensity. And I think that is a difference now and before. There will always, because I would like to see these players go back to the franchises, better condition and fitter players, so that they can contest the players of Super Rugby.
Just maybe a bit of a bigger picture question. Before the test series, there's a lot of question marks about European players, picking a locally based squad, etc. And obviously the guys have performed now. On two fronts, are you surprised with how well the local players have performed without European players with them, without that experience? And then secondly, the message that it also sends to players playing locally, that if they stay, there is this the Springboks that they can get, and then the guys still can perform.
No, I'm not surprised at all. It's just that our home-based players had enough time to prepare. You know, coming from different franchises with fresh or things, habits that they've had for the last 8 to 10 weeks or 12 weeks, and then into international season. You know, without having had those camps, it's always going to be tough. But now you have 3 camps and a weekend plan, whereby you can change, you know, sort of habits, and just making sure that they understand the plan. We were really, preparation was key, and we knew this French side really, really well. We've looked at the club competition, top 14. We've looked at the Clermont players at Toulon. We really did our homework well, and those sort of plans could have been put into place during the camps already. So our home-based, local-based players, honestly, is you know, they have performed well. I rewarded form, I rewarded good decision makers, and it really showed.
Well, after 2 good wins, is it now a bit of a challenge to make sure the guys keep their feet on the ground, not get carried away?
I think you can help me with that. Don't think the players don't read these things. I'm sure their families do read, and the families will tell them how well Christo wrote about you. You're a superhero now. You know? And no, I think the players are really taking accountability for their actions, which is part of our value system. Accountability is a massive thing, not just physically, mentally as well. We know we haven't, and I said that we haven't achieved anything yet. This is what is expected of you when you represent your country. You've got to be up every weekend, and the players they're actually embracing that. So there's no time for complacency.
Coach, how important is it?
Questions after this? Yeah.
Coach, how important is it to make it 3-0 in terms of helping home that killer instinct that you were talking about?
Well, if we just look at nailing it with the fundamentals of the game, like I say, ball to ground in the carry, what do we do? How do we recall? our reaction speed on the ground, and because our ball carriers are responsible for quick ball and ball to come back at the break. They're not cleaners, you know. If they react to those little battles and we get that right, then I'm sure it will, you know, the result will come. But we have to make sure that we continue stopping Moors like we effectively have done it. We've got to continue scrumming the way we have scrum at set piece. You have to continuously defend like we're defending, and we can improve on our kickoff receipt as well. You know, we made 2 errors, and I think they scored after we scored. Then they scored. It's something that we don't want to allow. So we must be sharp on those things, and then, you know, the result will definitely look after itself if we make sure we win the small battles. It's going to be a cliche, and you'll hear it the whole year from me. Small battles. That's what the game is about. Between the whistles, you know. If we live longer between from whistle to whistle, then we will be more effective.
I think everybody will agree that the crowd at Pretoria was a bit disappointing for a test match.
No. They were fantastic. I mean, you're talking about the numbers.
The numbers, yeah. No, the numbers, 30,000. I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't a great crowd. Do you feel that the people that arrive at Allister Park on Saturday will in a way be an indication as to how much faith has been restored in 2 weeks in Springbok rugby?
I think one thing that you've got to understand, Christo, if you look at Pretoria and you look at, you know, from February, the number of supporters that have attended the games at Loftus, and when we played there, I'm sure there's been 120% improvement, and they flipped and supported the, you know, the Springboks and the love for the Springboks. I saw that in Pretoria, and we're just so fortunate to have that support, and we appreciate that support, Christo. But yes, we would like to see, you know, week in, week out, people's got to believe in the Springboks again, you know, and that a lot of things been said last year about things like there's no gold in the green and gold anymore and all that, and so we're putting all that back now, Christo, and that's, you can see that through the reaction of the people.
Afrikaans, nadat jy na die wedstryd 'n bietjie weer gekyk het na Saterdag, wat is die goed waarop jy wil voortbou, en dan van die goed wat jy geïdentifiseer is wat jy aansienlik wil verbeter vir die derde toets in die aansoek?
Kom ek stel dit so, die goed wat tegnies aangewerk kan word, is vir my die maklikste. Maar die goed wat ons met voorbou as 'n span, is ons ongelooflike harde werk. Ons, hoe vinnig ons van die vloer af opstaan, hoe vinnig ons gate toestop op verdediging, en hoe vinnig ons mekaar uittel as daar fout is. Dis ons almal se fout, nie net een ou se fout op verdediging nie. Maar wanneer ons skop, hoe hard ons jaag. Dis die goed wat jy nie aldag vir 'n speler kan afrig nie, en dis nie so tegnies as wat dit maar net uit harde werk uit is nie, en ek wil dit doen vir die span, en ek doen dit aan die einde van die dag, want dit is wat my span maar na die wedstryd in my oë gaan kyk en sê, well done, jy het regtig waar jou lyf op die lyn gesit. Dis wat dit is. Daar's 'n paar tegniese goed natuurlik, soos ek gesê het, ons wil graag nie seker maak dat ons die ontvangs, wanneer ons punte aangeteken het, wil ons glad nie verhoed dat daar punte onmiddellik teen ons aangeteken word. Ons wil inteendeel back-to-back punte aanteken. Dit is eintlik hoe ons dit wil sien in toets rugby. Ons kan nog ook seker maak, ons behoud van ons bal deur fases kan verbeter, en veral by die afbreekpunte, as hulle nie die bal gesteel het deur goeie besluitneming, het ons die bal self afgestaan. Bietjie deur en nie vinnig te reageer nie, op die baldraer nie goed genoeg geveg het op die grond nie, en dis goed waaraan ons kan werk, om ons kontinuïteit te behou. Ek dink die ongelooflik harde werkverrigting wat daar is, moet behou bly.
Saterdag se span, kyk jy na bestendigheid, om 'n wenkultuur te bou, of is daar 'n balans wat jy diepte opsoek in die span?
Nee, kyk, dis 'n bietjie
van oorweeg jy SAA spelers ook om in die groep in te bring vir Saterdag?
Ja, dis 'n bietjie van als. Eerstens is kontinuïteit belangrik om verbetering in progressie te kan wys. Ek dink sekere spelers speel ongelooflik goed, en hoe verduidelik jy dit as hy die span net weggelaat word. Ek dink die derde toets is vir ons die belangrikste toets. In fact, inteendeel is elke toets wedstryd belangrik, maar hierdie ene veral is vir ons regtewaar 'n belangrike ene. Ons wil seker maak ons gaan op hierdie na die breek positief met 'n positiewe uitslag. Daar gaan 1 of 2 veranderinge gemaak word. Ek dink ons moet ook kyk om kapasiteit in die span te vergroot en jy weet maar kontinuïteit is belangrik, momentum is belangrik. So natuurlik gaan daar vervanging plaasvind as gevolg van beserings wat maar onvermydelik is en ek glo die spelers wat inkom sal definitief hulle kan bring.
Dankie.
Oupa is uit en Jessie is in. Hoe beïnvloed dit jou?
Ek het nog nie die span gekies, hoe sê jy Jessie is uit? Ek meen in die span of in die oorweging?
Terug van injury af.
O, sorry, ja. Ja, Jessie Kriel is jy weet daar's nog 'n paar toetse wat hy moet deurgaan, maar dis baie positief op hierdie stadium. Hy sal sekerlik beskikbaar wees vir die naweek. Baie verheug daaroor. Alhoewel Lionel uitstekend gespeel het, is ons bly dat daar 3 goeie buitesenters in ons groep is, by name van Jessie Kriel, Lionel Mapuvo en Francois Venter. So baie interessant, jy weet, ons sal die regte keuses maak daar.
Soos jy nou daar sit,
Laaste vraag.
Soos jy nou daar sit, weet jy in jou kop wie is jou 15 spelers wat Saterdag gaan
Ek gaan nie vir jou
Ek
sê
weet nie of my te sê nie, maar sê net vir my, is jy oortuig hoe jou span gaan lyk of gaan 1 of 2 dinge in die week dit bepaal?
Nee, ek dink ek is redelik oortuig van hoe die verandering moet uitsien, Christo, en so ek sê daar's redes vir veranderinge en ek dink net die span is op so 'n goeie plek dat op hierdie stadium 1 of 2 veranderinge glad nie die kontinuïteit of die momentum sal breek nie. Inteendeel, dit kan tot verbetering lei.
Dankie coach. Thank you very much.